What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. We got David in here. Hello from Bonnie, Scotland. Nice. Have not been to Scotland. Been to Ireland. Been to the UK, like London, around that area. Supposed to go to Scotland, but pandemic cut me short on that one. We were supposed to go up to the Highlands and do like a full tour up there and do like a pig roast and Scotch tasting. I was so excited. But we everything closed down. We had to go home. So very sad about that one. But I'll make it back sometime. But cool. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Just put a one in the chat for me, and we'll get going here. So today we're going to talk about budgets for starting out your Amazon business. So what to expect for all that, as well as um, going over the Q&A questions here. We get about 21 questions we'll go over. Of course, if you want to get first dibs on questions, please get in the Facebook group. Links down below in the description. We'll help you apply. It's free, of course, but just we want serious people in there only. Yeah, if you feel like it's right for you, go ahead and hop in there. Let me check. Let's see here. David says I'm welcome anytime. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Gina, hi from Atlanta, Georgia. What's going on? Haven't been to Atlanta too much. I've been just north of Atlanta a couple times to, I believe it's called Cummings, Georgia. Obviously, it's like a suburb of Atlanta, but I thought it was beautiful up there. I stayed on like a horse farm. It was so cool. And then I went up north a little bit and did the start of the Appalachian Trail, which was super cool. But with that being said, I could talk about my travels all day. I love to travel. Let's get into budgets to start. Okay, so this one won't be, um, you know, perfect by any means because it depends. There's so many variables, things like that. But when I have someone start out with Amazon FBA, especially in the private label field, you need a little bit more capital than say retail arbitrage or wholesale. You can make that argument too, but you're not going to make a lot of money unless you put a lot of money into wholesale. Retail arbitrage, same thing. You're not going to make a lot of money, but you can start with like $50 and stuff like that, reselling books or clearance rack stuff and work your way up, but it's going to take a long time. Of course, private label is my favorite because, building a brand, eventually you can exit that brand for many multiples. I've known people who've sold their brands for $3 to $5 million and gotten some big multiples on that. So private label, I like to give a vague range of like $3,000 to $5,000 to start at minimum. Obviously, the market you're going into has a big component of that. If you start with 200 units in a market that does 10,000 units a month, well, you're not going to keep up. It's like you're not going to have the same sales velocity to rank up. So if you start with a little lower market, obviously you're going to make less money, but you put less money in. So you can work your way up slowly with this. And obviously private label, you have bigger margins, hopefully working with 30 to 40% margins there. So 3 to 5,000 to start for sure. And that's including, PPC, samples, photography, things like that. On the higher end, 5 to 10,000. Even if someone came to me with $10,000, or no, say they came to me with like $30,000, I would still want to cap them with their first product under $10,000. Why I do this is because if you go for a bigger market with your $30,000 in capital, well, you're swimming with sharks. You're swimming with people who know what they're doing, and you don't have the skill set yet. You may have the money, but not the skill set yet to compete with them, and you're going to get eaten alive. So I'd rather start with 10,000, build your skills up, get some profit coming back, and then reinvest once you have that skill set. Now you can just keep doing these products that are a little bit lower market caps and just keep dominating there. Or if you want to get more aggressive, you can go ahead and use that, extra 20,000 or whatever it is to go for a higher end market. I still don't recommend this, but again, that's up to you. I like going for smaller markets, building my way up and growing over time with Amazon. It's easier to manage. You don't have to sit there and micromanage, these top end products, because I've done that before and it sucks. I've had $100,000 a month products, and man, it's a full-time job alone. Your margins are thinner. It's more dog eat dog up there. People are doing more black hat stuff, where I love having, say I have 10 products that do 10,000. Those you can manage them once they get to a good point. Of course, it's front loaded. You got to put the work in still, but you can manage those once a day, per week. So it doesn't turn yourself into another 9 to 5, which is what we're trying probably all to escape ourselves here. So that's kind of the budget range. So $3,000 to $10,000. You can't start with less. It's going to take a little bit longer. What you're looking at, product costs is going to be the most of that, as well as shipping. So if say you spend $3,000 on products and shipping, then you have another, say 1,000 for, photography, samples, things like that. If you have to get your listing created, if you get that written, that could be, another $500, but I suggest you do that on your own the first time. You get a trademark, that's $250 at bare minimum, sometimes up to $500 if you hire a lawyer. So it's another $500 there. And then we'd say we have $500 on PPC to finish that off. Well, that's, say $10 a day. PPC, that's $300 a month. Say it's 15, that's about $450 a month. So you're sitting around that $5,000 mark. And hopefully you're putting, 30 days of PPC and you're getting some cost of goods back, at least for your sales. Say you're just, worst case, you're breaking even. You're getting some money coming back to your Amazon account and then eventually to your bank account to reuse on PPC while you grow. Now I say that because break even, sometimes it takes, 2 to 3 months just to get to that point where you're ranking organically to start making full profit sales. When you're first starting out, don't expect a full profit margin. That's just unrealistic, but can happen. But if you just know that going in, you're going to have a lot better time. The Vine program's $60, sometimes $120, depending if they're running a sale, and you're giving away some goods there. So it's not like it's coming right out of your pocket. So that's kind of what you're looking at for that, guys. So $3,000 to $5,000. Of course, I'm missing some small stuff, like Helium 10 subscription, things like that. It doesn't behoove me much to like get really small into the details. Obviously, when we want to work our margins, we want to know those numbers. But just being cognitive of what you're spending, and because what else do you need? Like Helium 10, that's about it. For softwares, for monthly subscriptions, other thing else is going to assets for your product, whether it's product itself, the shipping to that. So you're going to get your cost of goods from that, all the way to samples, inspections, about $100 to $200 there. And then, you're looking at PPC, you're looking at photography, but these are all built in. And then once they're done, and you run with that, and then you start making money on the back end there. So that's kind of my scope of how I look at those things. Obviously, I track a lot of things with Excel sheets. So if you want to get into that, I would do that. Xero or QuickBooks can help you track your accounting as well. Of course, once you get in the daily selling, make sure you're tracking your profits through like a Helium 10 profit tracker, or, Jungle Scout has one, things like that. Okay. So if there's any questions on cost and things like that, let me know, guys, in the chat there. If there's any questions on what things cost, where to spend money, where not to spend money. But I like to keep this simple, because if I start thinking about everything you need, I get bogged down in the details and I get too scared to start. So I'd rather start. Obviously, you need to know numbers, what you're spending for things, but it should come down to what's my opportunity, what's my cost of goods, so product, shipping cost, and then knowing your profit margin right after that will give you like, okay, I've got 35% profit margins here. Okay, let's work off that and just be very frugal and very conscientious of what I'm spending, not buying $300 subscriptions to the diamond program of Helium 10. That's just ridiculous when you first start. Things like that, guys. So if you got any questions on that, let me know. I'm going to go through Q&A right now, and then we'll get back to any cost and budget stuff in the chat there of what it costs to get started. All right, let's start with the first question here. Let's see if I got the right one. April 7th. Yep. Okay. Do you recommend your supplier to ship your goods or hire a different freight forwarder? Isn't it easier just to make your supplier do it for you? So Brandon, I like to hire a freight forwarder. This is just because I like to split up. I don't like things that have biases or, I don't know, like conflicting interest. Okay. So what I used to see, so when we first started, I used my supplier for shipping. What I started seeing as we started to buy more and more product is we get lower product costs, but it seems to me like they're making up for their shipping costs because they just put it all in one. So we wanted to split this. So we got shipping costs and we got product costs, and we could just haggle with both from two different parties. When the supplier has control of both, they can manipulate those numbers to better suit them and fit them. Okay, so I like anywhere we can go, I like to split these services so that way there's no conflicting interests when it comes to that. Same thing with inspection companies. A lot of freight forwarders will do inspections. Suppliers, they do inspections, but don't ever do that because obviously they're going to be extremely biased with their inspection because they want their money. So they're going to, hide things or whatever it may be. So I like to keep my inspection service, my freight forwarding, and my suppliers separate. Now, in your first order, if it's easier just to use your supplier, fine, but work to get a freight forwarder to split this up to make sure you're getting honest quotes. Obviously, suppliers offering you better shipping rates, probably just go with them. That's why we get multiple quotes, because we're keeping people honest this way. And just keeping them honest the whole time. If they keep beating out your freight forwarder that you're getting quotes from, fine, you're doing your job just fine. So just be aware that, things aren't always what they seem. And when parties have conflicting interests, like that could hurt you. There could be some weird stuff, and even if they are trustworthy, I don't even like. I like to cut off every chance they have to do that. That way, we never have that issue. All right, we got David McAllen or Elon, Alinon. Yeah, I don't know. I butchered that. I've ordered my first batch of stock, trademark pending, brand registered pending. I'll be soaking up PPC tactics very soon. I'm already thinking UK market, 10 per day on auto for 4 weeks and analyze the data. Is this wise? So I think auto campaigns are the weakest campaigns out there. I rather you do, even if you just do one campaign, do $10 on phrase. So 10 pounds there, or euros. I think it's pounds here. 10 pounds there on phrase. And that's going to be a lot better for you to get data and to eventually put those terms that people are searching into exact. That's where you're going to be most efficient, is exact campaigns. But at first, you don't know what your best keywords are going to be. So phrase cast a larger net. I call these my discovery campaigns to find those exact terms, so that way I can be very efficient with that. And then if you want to put like $3 into auto after that or during that, you can do that for sure, because you're going to find some product pages potentially that you can bid on there. But auto and broad are the least efficient campaigns, and I keep my bids super low for these, and they have to be profitable to keep. Phrase and exact, when I'm first starting, they don't have to be profitable for me as long as I'm getting sales with keywords. I see that as an investment to rank up on those keywords and get more reviews, of course, too, from those sales. Oscar Leon, hey Cameron, Amazon sent me this. Do you think it's worth it? So we help you optimize your campaigns. You can get on a call with them. That's fine. Doesn't mean they're going to they're going to do what's best. Again, conflict of interest. They want you to spend money. That's what they're there for. You think Amazon would be hiring support staff in advertising if it didn't bring them in more money? So it doesn't mean they're going to be experts, but maybe you can pick their brains on a couple things. But of course, always do what's best for you. So I'd learn a good base of Amazon PPC and then just pull nuggets away from them if you do get on a call with them. But if they tell you your budget should be $50 or whatever right away, they're probably just trying to suck some money out of you. Brandon McCarthy, how do we pay our suppliers? So I like to do PayPal and credit cards at first to protect myself, and then eventually I move to wires once the trust is built. Should we pay a certain percentage up front? So 30% down, then 70% once the goods are inspected. So 30% down to start production, and then after the inspection's done and they pass, you say they're passed, you pay them 70%, and the freight forwarder or supplier will ship those out. Amazon sent me this. Should I do something? We're writing to inform you electronic tax invoice for the month is now available. No, I mean, these are for your taxes, right? So just collect these documents and make sure you have those for filing taxes. Tina Dang. Hello, Cameron. Been having a bit difficult of understanding shipping sizes right now. I'm trying to find out how much it would cost to have DDP shipping overseas from China to US. Before I order a custom sample, I want to make sure my profit margin is still there. I already found my cost per good, just need shipping costs. Supplier has provided me product package, which is 45 centimeters. Okay, the main carton is 44, 12 pieces. Is there a way to find out which the carton weight be without ordering the product yet? So you just take essentially this kilograms times it by 12 if your master carton fits that. So then you have the size of the master carton and the weight, and then you can get a quote by telling your freight forwarder that. Is there a way to find out how much carton weight would be ordering the product yet? Yeah, just like I said, I've reached out to freight forwarder for quote, and they'll ask me how much my carton size and number of cartons. Yep, you should be able to factor that in based on what you're getting quotes for, how many units you're doing, and then carton size. Probably not going to be perfect, but I mean, it's good enough to get a quote where it's going to be within 5%, right? HS code and value. So this is values from your quote, and then HS code, your supplier can give that to you. And this is what they factor for duties or taxes, custom taxes or tariffs, whatever you want to call it, to factor in the order there. I don't know if I should ask my supplier the weight of the carton if I've not ordered products yet. You can ask them. Hey, I'm trying to get quotes for freight forwarding to make sure my numbers are correct. Do you know what the weight would be of the carton, or it sounds like you can just factor this in yourself? Do the math. Doreen Hasini, hi Cameron, I've launched my product a week ago. Congrats. I had a good launch, ranking in 200 spot on my category. Sales were coming in 5 to 10 units a day. That's fantastic, man. I was going heavy on PPC too, but suddenly my sales stopped 4 days ago. I had 0 sales last 4 days with PPC running, spending $8 a day with no sales. $8 a day is a lot. I had 15 Vine reviews, all 5 stars, even dropped the price 20% with no luck. My last order was placed on April 6th, saying Amazon ships on April 9th. Do you think the shipping is a problem for my drop in sales? Yes, if it's not in 2 days, it's going to drop your conversion rate. My products are FBA with all them. The Prime box also dropped to 1800 ranking, not selling for the last 4 days. So they could be catching up with getting these things around the country to get in 2 day shipping. So hopefully that gets resolved quickly. How many units do you have in? That factors in too. If there's only like 50 units in total, they have troubles getting enough quantity to, like, in Seattle, New York, Miami, LA, Denver, Chicago, things like that, right? So if it's split up too much, then they're not going to offer 2 day shipping because they don't know where to put these goods at. Also, when you first start, you're in like a honeymoon period and your PPC gets a better chance. What you can do is I drop your PPC spend if you're struggling right now, and I would restart campaigns. So I'd close the old ones and make the new ones. It could be exactly the same, or you can use the data to do that. You start to see this too when you first start, and it's perfectly normal. So you start PPC campaigns in the first 3 days, they're getting great, clicks, impressions. You're getting sales, but all of a sudden after day 3, they drop. Nothing's happening anymore. Well, what happened was Amazon was trying you out, giving you a clean slate, so to speak, and then you weren't hitting certain conversion marks that are standard in that category, essentially. So they put you back down. You can kind of hack the system by just restarting these every 3 days. Your goal eventually is not to do this, not have to do this, but this is a little trick that you can do to kind of revamp them. I would slow down with the $80 a day and reinvest into, more reviews somehow, or maybe start some external traffic as well. Because $80 a day is quite a bit there. Maybe drop this down to 30 a day, and start a little slower. Let time do the work a little bit more. As more reviews come in, it'll be a little easier to be sustainable that way. Because again, 50 to 100 reviews, you're going to see a lot of higher conversion rate than just 15, right? So that's my advice to you. Tina Dang. Also, when it comes to printing logo brand, can it be printed on the packaging box or just have to be on the product itself? It could be on the packaging or the product itself. So either one. Choose to get it printed on the package instead of the product. Would my chance of getting hijacker be higher? Doesn't matter. Do we pay, or it'd be harder? I shouldn't say that exactly. It'd be harder to prove that the other one's counterfeit this way. But to me, it wouldn't matter. It's a small enough difference where I'm okay with it. Brandon McCarthy, do we pay our freight forwarder in full, or do we pay a certain percentage at first to pay the remaining when the products arrive at Amazon's warehouse? So I pay them afterwards before and split this up. So you have to talk to the freight forwarder to see what they standardly do. Sometimes they just want a little bit down payment at first, and then as you build trust, you can pay after it's delivered. Brandon McCarthy, hey Cameron, this is my first time selling. How many units can I send in for a large standard size units? Depends on when the account's made. Could be 500, could be 1,000, could be 200. So you just got to check there. They just moved their system to a different kind of calculation. So it could be by CBM or cubic feet. You would have to check this by making a shipping plan. But I would start with as few as possible. So depending on how, like what the market does, this could be 200. Then you send the rest of, say you order 1,000, 800 could go in a 3PL or to your home. And you just trickle in inventory because they're starting to charge more over time, where 3PLs really do matter. Hey Cameron, Stephen Fu here. Doing private label register with Brain Registry. I recently bought two $30 Forever GTN UPC codes for 2 separate products. Is it okay if I just use this blah, 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 blah. Is it okay if I just use the use manufacturer barcodes for items? They do not require any prep for all to ship. Yes, it's okay, but you're going to have to print the UPC on the packaging. Can I get my UPC barcodes, or do I have to go with the FN SKU? So if they give you this option, you could use manufacturing barcodes, and that just means you're going to use the UPC instead of FN SKU, which I'm totally okay with. These products will not change and will always be FBA. Yeah, I would just do UPC then. If you ever want to get the retail, this helps out too. Also, reason I'm asking is because when I added one GTN UPC item, I successfully got the FN SKU. When I added another one, it gave me the BO prefix on the FN SKU. Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know why they do that. They deem some products, they just need on. Essentially, the BO is the ASIN, and the XO prefix is the FN SKU. So it's got the seller labeled in there, where the BO prefix is the ASIN where it's more generic. This could change. This could have changed, but that's how I know of it right now. Yeah, I don't, that's not optimal because it'd be harder to change that. Um, for this BO one, I look into the transparency program on Amazon where you can put QR codes on there. Because what I'm afraid of, um, if I could type here and I can't type and talk. Um, what I'm concerned about, if it's just the ASIN, anybody could use that, and there's no essentially differentiator, that's a word, to tell which seller is selling what. So it's harder to prove counterfeit. But if you do the transparency program, the ones with the QR codes are clearly yours, uh, where the other ones aren't. So maybe look into that to further protect yourself. Excuse me. Oh yeah, if selling other marketplaces like US, Evans all the same. Selling to other locations, might cool. Yes, FNSKUs can be all the same if you do that correctly. Um, but yeah, you could do either one here, so it doesn't really matter. Um, if you're only gonna be selling Amazon, I'm leaning more towards getting the FN SKU put on it, just to protect you a little bit more. Sharika Miller, I'm very much new to being a seller on Amazon, and one of the challenges that I'm having is not knowing which step to take. For instance, I recently found out that a product listing has to be made before creating a shipment. Yes, I jumped all over the stage, communicating to suppliers ready to make an order. So my question is, what are the step-by-step approach to take after creating a seller's account? So you find your product, you get quotes from suppliers. Um, Once you have quotes, you get samples, make a decision who to go to, place your 30% down order. After that, make your listing. After that, make your shipping plan. During that process, get a trademark. And then essentially, you can get brand registered with that. Um, Obviously, make your shipping plan too. Give that to your freight forwarder or your manufacturer to put on the master cartons. Get an inspection set up. Get your product listing created. So your copy, your title, and then also get a photography lined up, a product photographer lined up, and then get your first ones off the lines shipped to DHL. Ship using DHL to your product photographer to get over there. That way you're all ready. I'm sure I'm missing a few things, but that's the general gist of it. Oscar Leon, the journey is crazy, man. Launched 3 weeks ago, started PPC 2 weeks ago, and sometimes I have 2 sales a day, sometimes one, sometimes zero. ACOS of 55% compared to 60 on Thursday. 14 reviews thanks to Vines and Friend. 4.5 should optimize the campaigns or wait. Yeah, man, that's exactly how this works. It's a roller coaster when you first start. Some days zero, some days five, some days two, and you just got to roll with the waves there. You can restart your PPC campaigns if they're not being super consistent. 55% ACOS though is pretty damn good when you first start. So great job there. Keep optimizing your campaigns, of course, using data from your SDR reports to get better exact campaigns. Shut down things that aren't working. So keywords, either lower the bids or shut them down. Getting keywords people are bidding on that are profitable or within that 55% range, getting those into exact campaigns and optimizing those over time would be the best bet. Definitely take it slow here. Don't be spending a ton of money on PPC. Take it slow. Keep getting reviews in. Keep ranking. This is the long game, so don't overburden yourself right away. Just keep thinking of ways of getting more reviews, getting additional sales, driving traffic. Getting your business reports, look at your conversion rate. So make adjustments to your listing, your photos, getting those better because the higher the conversion rate, the easier PPC is and the higher you rank. You can also start to look into external traffic, maybe TikTok, maybe YouTube Shorts, maybe influencers, maybe YouTube long form, all that good stuff there to drive additional traffic. I would stay away from paid advertisement off of Amazon just because it's too expensive, too hard to do. It's a little too saturated. But it sounds like your start's going well, man. Congrats. I would be pretty happy with 55% ACOS when I first start. Dong Vu, do an impression and clicks from PPC campaign affect how the product is ranked organically? Clicks from PPC. They do. They actually do. Yes, they do. I'll just keep reading there. I'll expand on that here in a bit. I have a few high impression, high click campaigns that I turned off recently due to them not performing too well, but I've noticed that my organic sales have not been doing as well since. Just wanted to check in with you to see your thought on this, and also on PPC campaigns that you pay X amount of impressions. Have they ever worked for you? Um, so Amazon likes it when you spend money. They'll never tell you that PPC affects your organic ranks. But to me, always having something going has been beneficial. Uh, PPC can affect you in two ways. You can actually hurt your ranking if you have high impressions um, and low clicks or high clicks without conversions. This can actually dock your ranking for that keyword. It's not a big deal because you weren't going to convert there anyways. If PPC is not converting on that keyword, organic's not going to convert there either. You're just essentially accelerating the process that keyword is not right for you at this time. Doesn't mean it won't be in the future, because they're getting more data of like, we had 10,000 visitors, only 1% converted. This keyword's obviously not relevant, so they push you down. But it also helps you say there's some long tail keywords you're converting on highly. Well, you're going to rank up for those, right? So I like to double down on those at first, and then things that are not performing well in PPC, just cut those out or lower the bids. Then over time, you can come back to those. Oscar again here. My ads are not showing at the top of any of my first top keywords. I do show up organically in the first page though, but my ads are like halfway the first page, the bottom or even the second page. You told me last week to wait, and eventually Amazon will put me up there with others. Budgets run out or whatever. Should I wait more, increase the bids? Yeah, so Oscar, you just randomly going on there and looking is not going to tell you anything. Because what happens is you have 10,000 people that search that keyword. Well, it's different for everybody. You could be on page 4 for somebody else for your PPC campaign. You could be on page 1. So you could check this in the incognito browser. That's going to give you more accurate data. But just because you're on page 2 or whatever for your PPC ads doesn't mean you didn't rank number 1 for someone else. Okay. What best to look at is in PPC, there's a data marker that you can put on that shows you how often you're showed in the top spots. So go look at that data to see if there's a percentage of when you're ranking to the top. But I wouldn't worry about this too much at first because you have no control over this. The best thing you have control over is increasing your conversion rate. And you do that by getting more reviews, working on your listing, things like that. Okay. Tina, hey Cameron, before I proceed to order a custom sample, do I need to ask for invoice first, or how does it work? I'm new to Alibaba website. Yes, just ask for a quote for a sample. Brandon McCarthy, should I have my manufacturer label my FN SKUs on my package or the product itself? So the package, whatever's on the outside that the customer gets, put the label on that. Gina Bright, hey Cameron, I already placed an order with my supplier, but they are asking if I have my barcode content. I don't understand. Thought the UPC codes already in the items are the barcodes. No, they're not. What do I tell them? Also, I am in the process of buying GS1 barcode. Do you recommend I buy one code and use for products and its variants, or more codes separately for its variant colors? So you need a UPC code for each variation of your product, Gina. No way around that. You can't use one. If you have blue, yellow, green, you need one so you need 3 total for blue, yellow, green, each differently there. So what you do once you have the UPC codes, you make your product listing, and then you can once that's done, you can get your FN SKU, which is the Amazon barcode. That's what goes on the product packaging. That's what they're asking for. That's what you need. Mohammed, hello Cameron, can you please make a video on how to give VAT exemption UK? And if you already have made it, can you please put the video link in there? So I'm not an expert in VAT. I actually paid people to figure that out for me. I'd be the wrong person to talk about for VAT. I apologize. I wish I knew more. Dongvu, since my product is on the higher end of price, my conversion rate has not been so good from PPC, even though those who have reviewed the products higher on the quality side. For exact campaign, would you recommend going lower side of bid or higher side to be aggressive? It depends on your budget, but I go lower side if I just had to say something here. I go lower side, get a coupon on your page to increase impulse buys. But when you have a higher priced product, you're going to have a lower conversion rate until you have the review count to back up the social proof that your product's worth that cost. So I'd start less aggressive and just keep working on reviews. And then one day your conversion rate's going to switch over. You're going to get over the hump. And then things will be easier for you there. So I start lower side, keep working up reviews, and to get social proof that your product's actually worth that amount. That amount. Okay, a little harder with higher price goods there. Okay, let's go to the chat here. I apologize that I'm all over the place um, as far as my English. um, yeah, just can't speak English today. Just quick foods from France. What's up? Never been to France. Would love to go. Panarello Ryder. Hey, everybody, checking in from Atlanta. Nice. David McAllen. Again, I butchered again. Yes, that's you. Thanks for answering my question, man. Phrase it is. Yes, phrase campaigns, my good sir. Epic guy. Hey, Cameron, is there any way to manipulate the Amazon warehouse I'm allocated to save money on shipping? If you do small parcel deliveries and you put your from address, you're more likely to get an address near you. So that's the only way to do that. K. Shane Beauty, how do you get reviews? The Vine program, friends and family, making sure you're doing review requests. You can do buyer seller. You can do buyer seller messages, but I'd rather do manual review requests. Um, then you could build review systems from there, which is a little bit more advanced. That deserves its own hour video. Gina Brooke, me, smiley face. Yes, you, smiley face. Cool, guys. That's it. Hope everybody had a good week here. Hopefully this helped. Make sure you get in the Facebook group if you're not already, if you want first dibs on questions. And then we'll see you next week. All right, guys. Bye.